Hello, a very warm welcome to you this morning on what is a very, very, very cold morning here. I think before, if my eyes don't deceive me, I've seen little flakes of snow, which is quite exciting. Today we are feeling festive. I'm going to be making some little angel decorations with you. I will show you them quickly down on the mat and I'll explain how these kits work. We've gone a little bit different today because everybody who does celebrate Christmas will have their own kind of colour scheme in their house if you wanted to put this on your Christmas tree. So I know lots of people who have like bright pink trees or just all gold or silver. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to give you the choice. So in terms of the spaces, you can choose those and you can add them in separately. Let me just get that looking a little better. And what we're going to provide you with today is these lovely little angels. All of your crystals, these crystal drops are only available in these angel kits as well at the moment. We may get some stock in soon, but we're going to be providing you the kits to make the little angels. I think you make up 9. So if you wanted to, you could easily turn these into earrings or pendants or anything you fancied. I think they're really cute if you are wrapping your Christmas presents and you wanted to pop those on there too, or just put them maybe onto a bookmark and have that itself as a little gift. You could maybe pop them onto your kind of napkin kind of table decorations as well. And then if you did want to make the ring with it, then we're going to supply you, if you buy them separately, with the memory wire, which I'm using to create the ring, and also the spacer beads. You can buy those, as I've just said, in a different colour. So in the kit, you're going to get enough of all of your crystals that go along the outside and your angels too. So they're really straightforward to make, really fun and lovely to use. I'm going to say a very quick good morning to you all. What's the weather like where you are? Is it snowing? Is it snowing anywhere? There'll be no snowmen made in, or snow people made, or snow animals made in my front or back garden for the time permitting, because it's just a building site. But I do like the snow. I do like the snow, but it is bitterly cold this morning. Good morning to Lisa. How are you doing? Good morning. She says a cold and sunny Barrow. Good morning to Mina. Carol's in as well. Izzy's saying good morning to everyone. It's snowing in Scotland. She says 4 centimetres of snow yesterday and -4. Staying warm indoors and lots of jewellery making. Yeah, I like it. I like it to look at. I'm only wanting to be out in it for so long. Good morning, Camille. She says, good morning, Natalie. How are you all? I'm okay, thank you. It was very wet yesterday. I had a lovely day, went out with my mum and my dad. And then when I got home, it was as if we decided, or the builders had decided, that we weren't going to have a new kitchen. Instead, we were going to have a swimming pool. And there was water everywhere. So when I went out on the school run and it was heavily raining, I was like, nah, it's wetter inside than it is out. So yeah, I'm still smiling through gritted teeth. Chaotically deep. I know it'll be worth, but I'm getting to the brink at the moment where I'm just hiding in this room and making and wanting to go out when the builders are in. She says she's just realised she beat me today with the live. She says, I posted my memory wire from Facebook that popped up today that she made 5 years ago. What was it that you'd made? I don't think I've seen it. I'll have a little look in a bit. Good morning to Joanne. How are you doing? She says, these angels look adorable. And YouTube's not playing. I've had loads of issues this morning with my camera, and I just don't know why. It all seems to be okay now. I am seeing a couple of people on YouTube, so maybe try and refresh if you want to watch there. It should all be there to watch back after I'm done anyway. It's quite a quick make today. Good morning, Anne. How are you doing? I hope you're well. Sheila is saying lots of snow in Washington town, and literally I had a tiny flake. I was like, is it snow? Is it sleet? Good morning to Yolanda. How are you doing? Good morning to Jan. She says it's very cold and very wet in Sudbury. Elena's in as well. John says snow, nice. And Camille says, what are you making today? Well, I am making these down on the map. We'll show you them over on the website. You've given me a really good link into that. So let me take you over there. Hi, Anastasia, how are you doing? And I will show you how these kits work today. So we're giving you the choice. You can make the angels without the ring. You can make the angels with the ring. But I think they'd be really cute as like window decorations, maybe over your fireplace. You could hang them up if you've got a fireplace. Father Christmas is going to have to come through our roof light, which is newly installed. Mina says lots of internet was down yesterday. Yeah, I think my camera was just doing its own thing, to be honest. But yeah, there was global internet issues on certain servers. So I know it did affect the Totally Beads website for just a tiny little bit. But all should be well now. Good morning, Julie. Okay, Camille saying, no, I made what you're making today. Well, you're ahead of the game, aren't you? Debbie says, I remember stressful, but still love the choice hang in there. I've got no choice. I have no choice. I can't move out. If it wasn't for the school run and obviously doing the lives, I need to have really good internet connection to be able to stream. I think I would just move into my mum's, to be honest, because I'm taking all my washing down. And if mum is watching, she's probably not, because she's getting ready for a visit from my auntie today, then she's my angel. I would be lost without her. Speaking of angels, let's go over to totallybeads.co.uk. This is where you're going to find all your wonderful makes, these ones. So if you head into the video tutorial section, you can get there in loads of different ways. You can drop down at the top. I mean, look at these. Just look at the main page. Look at all the beauties that we've made. I've made beaded like snowflakes before. I'll have a little look in Christmas makes later, because I am getting excited. I don't know where I'm gonna put my Christmas tree, to be honest, but I am really excited for it. So we'll have a peruse later on the festive makes. Head into the video tutorial section and you'll see what we've been making of late. So we are getting into the festive season. Laura made beautiful little wire pendant trees with chips. She's going to make a bauble, I think, with you on Friday, which I'm really excited. It's a wire bauble, so it's made out of wire. It's not an actual bauble itself. But shout out to Laura and shout out to Simon. We've got some wire in, which is a different gauge, never been seen before on Totally Beads, and it just means you can do a lot more kind of shape type framework with it. So I'm really excited to get my hands on that, because I've been asking for quite some time, and she's managed her powers of persuasion that we've got something in. So there's going to be lots of festive makes coming up over the next few weeks, but also lots of things which aren't festive. So don't worry if you're not wanting to celebrate Christmas, or you don't celebrate Christmas, or you just want to make a beautiful bracelet that isn't festive themed. Today, these are our festive angel hanging decorations, and these are all the spacers that you can add if you wish to. Have a little look at how many you get in. These are acrylic 3mm spacers. So if you want to buy them, you can get 2,500 pieces for £2, or you can get 5,000 pieces for £4. They are going to last you, I'm not going to say forever, but unless you are making solely like just spacer jewelry, they, I think, will last you till next Christmas. There's loads in there. So you can choose if you want to have the silver, the red, the green, or the gold. They're all the colours that I've used today for these little hanging decorations. If you want to add the frame, you need to click on that and add them into your basket. You're also going to need some memory wire to add to your frame. You're going to get 15 loops. This one is saying it's a 0.8, so I'm going to check on that because the one I've used is a 0.5. You can still use the 0.8. It will fit on the spacers and it will fit on the crystals, but I just find it slightly easier to turn the loops a little bit better with a lower gauge. So have a little look at the memory wire that we've got in stock. Any will be sufficient, but here you're getting 15 loops and it's only £1.50. I'm using one full coil and a bit, so it's like 1 inch of that for my frame. These are what I'm making with you today. What you're going to get in here is you're not going to get the ring. You need to buy the memory wire separately if you'd like to get that and the spacers, but you're going to have enough to make 9 little angel charms. So that's going to be all of your crystals, these beautiful crystals running along the outside. I'm using 11 of those in total, so I've got 10 around the outside. In fact, let's click in and I'll make it a bit bigger. So I'm using 10 crystals around the outside of that hoop. I'm using 1 for the angel's head. So that's 11 in total, and they are 4 by 6 crystal rondelles. You're going to get enough to make 9 of your bodies of the angel as well. Now, these crystal drops are not available at the moment. If you want these crystal drops, you need to buy these little angel kits, and you're going to be able to make 9 of them. So that means you can make earrings with them, you can make pendants with them, you can have them just dangling on a little piece of kind of ribbon or something without the frame if you want to. You can do loads of things with these. You could even add them into your necklace as like a little pendant or bracelet or bookmark or whatever you fancy. You're also going to get those beautiful little wings. There's lots of wings on the Totally Beads website, but I really liked these. These come in silver or in gold, depending on which colour mix that you buy today, and they've got that little heart in the middle, which is really, really pretty. I'm going to be using a little spacer for the halo, which is like a little flat rondelle. Those drop beads, by the way, are 8 by 11. If you're wondering, you're going to have your head pin in there, and that is all you're going to need to make that cute little angel. So all of the things that you need to make 9 of the angels, it says create these fun angel charms with crystals and wings that can be added to our hanging ring decorations. This one is fuchsia. As you can see, it's really, really gorgeous, and I've paired this with the gold, but you might want to pair that with the green, and then you might want to get the green spacers instead, or whatever colour you prefer. So you're going to get 9 charms, and then you're going to have extra of these crystals to hang around your ring on that hanger if you choose to use that way. So that's everything you're going to get in there. You're also going to get your jump rings. The jump rings I'm using today are 8 by 1, so they're a little bit longer, and that's just going to mean that's going to give that little dangle. And then all I'm adding in is a little bit of rat tail that I've got left over. Anytime I do macrame makes, I always have a little bit extra left over, which might not be enough to do a full macrame make, so I keep it. And then if I ever need like a little ribbon type string, then that's what I use them for. And we've got lots of rat tail and various different things on the website as well. So that's everything you're going to get in these kits. They are £5.99, and that's enough to make 9 little angels and all those extra crystals to play with. You might want to make a bracelet with the memory wire and the crystals and hang this little angel off the front of it instead if you wish to. This one is the green one. Again, I've paired this with the gold, but this comes when I've made it with the green spacers, so I've kept that in keeping. If you want to have a little look what's in the kit, of course, at the bottom, rather than listen to me tell you, you're going to get those rondelles, which are 5mm. You're going to get your green crystal drops 8 by 1. You're going to get your crystal rondelles 4 by 6, and those cute little metal wing heart beads are 20mm in size. And if you want to add any of those in as well, you can get some of the crystal drops, but not all of them are available. But if you wanted to buy in extra of those, then you definitely could by just clicking quick add into your basket. So that's how the green one looks. What colour's your Christmas tree? Do you have a theme? The front one, I've got like a little one which I tend to put. I say the front one, it's I don't know where it's going this year, but I tend to have like my homemade decorations from Frank on that, predominantly red. And then we usually get a real tree, which goes in the front room, just because I love the smell of them. But cleaning up the needles are not, no, I'm not a fan of that, believe it or not. And that has, I tend to get a new bauble or decoration each year, and I hang that on there as well. I think these are make really nice gifts if you've got little secret Santa gifts, or maybe if you know you might be getting someone a little bottle of wine or something, you could hang this over the neck of the bottle as well. This one I love. I'm going to demo with this one today. I might demo with the fuchsia one as well, depending on time. This is the black, and I've paired it with the gold. I think it's very stylish. So these are what you're getting here. You're getting your jet black crystal rondelles and your jet black crystal drops with this. And I've paired this with the gold. But of course, you might want black and silver instead, or you might want the red little acrylic spacer beads with that. For the acrylic spacer beads, I'm using 45 pieces. So I'm popping them in groups of 5. So there's going to be 45 of the 3mm acrylic spacers for each of these rings that I'm creating. So I'm only going to use 45 per one, and you can get them for an absolute bargain price for, what was it, like £2 or £4? You're getting 2,500. What was it? Yeah, 2,500 pieces for £2, and I'm using 45 of them. So this is what I mean. If you get them, you're going to have loads to make with them. I use this little purple one against the silver. These are really pretty purple. If you have a little look, I'll show you them down on the mat. We've got like a purple rainbow in this drop, so it is purple, but it's got lots of kind of goldy, kind of beautiful bronzy kind of tones to it as well. And then I'm using your little crystals there too. So that one is your purple. Still £5.99 regardless of which colour you choose. And then I use the silver with the red because I thought that was quite a nice contrast. So you can get the silver plate little drops and the silver plate crystal rondelles 3x4. That's going to come with your jump rings, your wings, your little rondelles. These rondelles, I'm only going to use one piece of that per angel. That's what I'm using for the halo. So they're your colours today with all of your choices. Don't forget, this is going to be your angel, them to anything you want to. And if you want to make the little ring with it, you can add all of those gorgeous spacers for an absolute bargain price. You could multi-buy on the spacers as well if you wanted to, say, get red and green and alternate between the colours. I think that would look really, really lovely. You might want to add gold or silver, and then that way if you're gifting it to someone and you're not sure whether they're a gold or a silver person, you can add a little bit of both and do kind of a mixed metal look. So they're your angel kits today, £5.99. Going to make 9 of those lovely little angels for you. I am going to take this one off and just check I've not missed anything in the comments. So Joanne said in Coventry they've got sun trying to shine through the clouds, but the ground is wet and chilly. It's wet in my house. It is wet in my house, just as wet as it is outside. Mina says, yes, she was saying about the internet. Julie's in from a cold Wolverhampton. Debbie is saying about the kitchen. Yolanda says, Natalie, will you be showing how to make a bracelet for men? I'm trying to make a leather bracelet for my son and grandson with their names on them. I'm not planning on anything up until the next the end of the year, to be honest, Yolanda. But if you go on our jewellery making videos, have a little scroll through there. There's loads. We've got a full page dedicated to just macrame. So if you click in technique, you can see macrame. You can see I did one which was leather bracelets with like large hole beads. They were quite masculine. You might want to do something kind of chainmail. Have a little look. If it's a bracelet, you want to make, just click on bracelet makes and have a little scroll through. Most of the kits will still be available, even if we did it a long time ago. So even if those kits aren't available, you can see what products we used and you can have a little shop on the website. Hopefully, Yolanda, that will give you a little bit of inspiration. Hello, Kath. There she is, talking about you. But you say, speak the devil. And he appears. I was speaking to the angels, and then he showed up. Good morning to Heather. Hello to you. Good morning to Anastasia. Camille's waving to my mum. Good morning to Deborah. How are you doing? She says, good morning from Georgia. It's going to be 80 today. Heather's got a fake tree. She's had it for years. Well, I got two. Fancy. And when my kitchen space is finally done, I'm going to have a massive one. But right now, I don't know where to put it. And I won't bore you with those woes, but I haven't got space to put a tree up at the moment. Mina says, you could make this with Frankenad's dinosaur charm. Ooh, maybe that's something the elf could do, Mina. Venus Bond says, my parents, which is Rach, isn't it? My parents always had a real tree when we were growing up. Then Dad would chop it up and burn it for the fire. So the waft of pine was always in the lounge. That sounds idyllic. Absolutely wonderful. Yolanda, if you've got any questions at all about any of the makes, do just drop me a comment. If you go on my YouTube, Natalie Patton Jewellery, yeah, that's what it's called. If you comment on there, anything you're not sure of, so say if you watch something and think, I want to do that, I'm not quite sure. If you drop me a comment on that video, I've got it all in playlists. I'll be able to respond back and help you. Right, let's get making. I'll get carried away just talking about the festive things. Oh, pine. So excited. So these are our lovely little hangers. You can see the way I've positioned that little angel just dangles in the middle. So this is your silver, and I've paired it with the red acrylic spacers. Your angel is the same front and back, which makes it a perfect hanging decoration, because if she spins or he spins, you will see all of the twinkle on those lovely, I mean, I use the crystal rondelles just because you've got that facet on them, and I thought if you were hanging them on a Christmas tree or in your window or wherever, it's going to pick up on those lovely festive lights twinkling around. But again, little wine bottle or something that could go around the neck of that. You could add it to anything you fancied. These little angels are very, very versatile. I've done them for bookmarks before. I have made earrings with them before. They're very popular. So if you've got any festive stalls coming up, then I would suggest these might be a good make for that. This one is your clear. But if you have a little look, do forgive my nails. I've been bleaching the bath and scrubbing the floor, and they are a mess. But if you have a little look and you see the twinkles on there, really pretty. This is your purple. So I wanted to show you the colour of those. If I hold it quite close up, it's got like an amethyst, very, very pretty colour into it. And I paired that on the silver as well. Then I used the green. So I used the green spacers too, but if you wanted to, you could add the red spacers in, or the gold, or whatever colour you wanted. It looked pretty with the gold acrylic spacers. I think this one as well is going to match your angel's wings. And you know, they're a nice size, but they're not overly big. This one I think is, ooh, get you, Kath. She said they would make very pretty scarf rings. Well, I was thinking like a napkin ring as well, to be honest, Mum. Do you want me to bring the napkins? Going to my mum's for Christmas dinner. Very excited. We were talking about it yesterday. There you go. That's the black with the gold. And then you've got this gorgeous fuchsia, which I've put with the gold as well. So I'm going to use the gold spacers today. You are going to get loads of them if you want to add them into your basket. For the gold spacers, 3mm acrylics, you're getting 2,500 pieces for £2. If you wanted to get the green or you wanted to get the red, you'd be getting 5,000 pieces for £4. It's just an incredible buy, and they, as I say, going to last you for ages. Right, I'm going to put my little angel decorations down on the floor. What I'm using, what I need. I'm going to take my memory wire, and for this I'm using a 0.5, but you can use any, as long as your beads fit on, which these will. Your acrylic spacers have got quite a large size drill hole in them. All I'm going to be using of my memory wire is 1 coil and 1 inch. For this, I'm going to need my memory wire cutters, or heavy duty cutters. I don't want to be using my flush cutters and my wire cutters, because although it's a thinner gauge, it's still tempered steel, so it's still going to be really sturdy. I don't want to break my normal cutters. I need my heavy duty ones. So to get my coil to the size that I want, if you see, if I just stretch it out, it's like a little slinky, you'll see where this point here meets there, that's 1 coil. I want 1 and about 1 inch. So I'm going to cut it there. You can make these larger, you can make them smaller. I always cut that little bit more. I know I'm not going to need all of that, but I think 1 and 1 inch is the perfect size. So that's all I'm going to need for the frame. In terms of my angel, which I'm going to make first, I'm going to use 1 of my headpins, which will come in your angel kits, which are £5.99. And I'm going to take my lovely little drop bead. I only need 1 of these for my angel, and these in terms of size are 8 by 11. So I'm going to slide my little drop bead right onto the end so it's nice and flush. I'm then going to take 1 pair of my little angel wings. I say 1 pair because wings are 2, but it's just 1 bead, and I'm going to slide that on. Now I want my heart to be facing downwards, but if you wanted to, you could always place it, if you wanted your wings to be facing upwards, you could do that instead. It's entirely up to you. These are your makes. So I've done them where I'm wanting that little heart facing down. And if I just pick up one of these ones, you'll see she's just going to hang in the middle. I'm now going to take 1 of my crystal rondelles, which are my 4x6. For 1 angel, I just need 1 of these, because that's going to represent the angel's head. But if I'm going to be making my frame to go with it, I'll need 11 of those in total. And all of those crystals are going to be included in the angel kit. So if you wanted to get the ring and the spacers, you don't need to add in any extra crystals. You'll have lots of them to play with. And then all I need is my little halo. So I'm going to use 1 of these, which is my little flat rondelle, and I'm going to place that on top. There you go. That's how easy and how quick it is to make the angel. I think they would look very lovely as a pair of earrings, to be honest. Right, now I'm going to take my chain nose pliers and I'm just going to make a little bend. So I'm going to bend it, it doesn't matter which way you bend it, but I'm going to bend it backwards. And I want that bend to be fairly close to the halo. And now I can use my normal wire cutters, and I'm going to just cut, leaving about 1 centimetre from the bend, holding on to the end of that pin just so it doesn't fire away. And then I'm going to take my round nose pliers and I'm going to turn a little loop. So to turn my loop, I'm going to position my pliers just on the end of that pin, and I want the pin to be quite flush. I don't want any of that pin sticking out the back of the pliers, because then it's not going to turn as I turn this loop. So I'm going to support the angel by just popping my thumb on top of that halo flat rondelle, and I'm going to give it a little flick towards me, reposition my hand and curl all the way up. And now I've created a little loop. Just make sure that loop is centered and it's fully closed. So there you go. That's my angel done in a matter of seconds. Yeah, Heather, she says, oh, window decorations. Yeah, I think you could put these on, like, you know, if you've got a wreath or something on your door as well. There's so many things that you could do with them. Right, angel done. Now I'm going to take my coil of memory wire, which remember I cut about 1 and 1 inch. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my round nose pliers again, and I'm just going to turn a little loop. Now I'm turning my loop to the side, just like I did with the pin, only instead of bringing it up, I'm going to kind of go kind of against the way the memory wire naturally curves. That's why I think it's easier to do it with a smaller gauge. So I'm just turning it, and you'll see I've kind of got that kind of Q shape or P shape. It's not centered. So back in with my round nose pliers and just knock it. So pushing back on that little loop just to straighten it. And then what I do is I'm going to take my chain nose pliers, and you've got to be careful with this, because if you are using a thinner gauge of memory wire, it can still snap off if you're weakening it over and over and over and over again. If you're going to use the 0.8 memory wire, that's not going to happen. It's really, really strong and sturdy. But I'm going to flick that loop up, because what I want is eventually I want those two loops that I'm making on each end to kind of face opposite each other. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to position my pliers just underneath where the loop is. So I'm not going to put too much kind of strain on the loop that I've already bent, because I've already not weakened it, but I've turned it here. So if there's going to be a weakness in it, it's going to be there. So I want to just hold it just underneath the loop. So if you can see just here, and then as I flick up into kind of a right angle, I've created that little turn up. Now I'm going to start with my crystal. So I've already used one of my crystals for the head. I'm going to use 10 more for this size. If you wanted to make it bigger, however, you're just going to cut more of your memory wire coil, and you'll see it'll stretch out. And again, if you want to make it smaller, you can do less. But I think the perfect amount for this is 10. So the piece which of memory wire where I haven't got my loop turned, I'm just going to slide on my first crystal. I'm now going to get my 3mm acrylic spacers, and I'm going to use 45 of these in total for this design. So I'm just going to pick up 5 to begin with and slide those on to the memory wire. So you can see as I'm holding my memory wire, this finger here is just pushing it open. I don't want to push it open too much, but just enough so I can expose this end here, so I can just slide on my 3mm acrylic spacers really easily. So I'm just going to put 5 of those on and drop them down, and then pick up my next crystal. And I'm just going to do that until I've used all 10 of my crystals and all 45 of my acrylic 3mm spacer beads. So that's 3, 4, 5. Let them drop down. I don't need to push them all the way around to the other loop at the moment. I'll just let gravity move them out the way. Really, really quick makes. So nice little gifts, nice little decorations for your home. You can turn it into jewellery if you wanted to. But I think sometimes it's nice to be able to use your beading skills and your making skills to make something other than jewellery. There's lots of things you can do with them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 acrylic spacers, and then my crystal. You could see that would make a really lovely bracelet as well if you wanted to just make bracelets with them. And adding on 5. Yeah. I tend to just keep them in the little bag and dip out the bag as I go, rather than have them down on my mat. So if you can hear me rustling, that's what I'm doing. 1, 2, 3, 1 on the floor, 4, 5, and then adding on my next crystal. And my next crystal, alternating back to the 3mm acrylic spacers. Another crystal. You can see just as I'm working, I'm just pushing them up and they're all sliding around. So having that loop to start off with is going to stop them falling off the end. So 5 more spaces, and then my last crystal. So what will happen is that will kind of make one full ring, and I'm quite happy with the size of that. But you can see I've got that extra wire, and that's exactly what I need. So what I'm going to do is, before I turn my next loop, I'm going to take my memory wire cutters again and I'm going to trim. Now I want to leave approximately just here after that last bead. I want to have enough to be able to turn my loop again. So I'm going to leave about 1 centimetre from that last crystal. So pushing all the crystals down and round so that's sitting flush. I'm going to cut about there, just facing it down towards the mat as I cut, just so this doesn't fire off. And again, as I did before, I'm going to take that little end, keep it quite flush. Doesn't matter how big you turn that loop really, it doesn't need to be too big, but I'm going to make that P shape. I'm then going to center by kind of knocking it back. Close that loop over. And then with the pliers, again, I'm just going to hold. So when I bend it, I'm kind of holding that loop that I've just turned in the jaws of the plier. So as I give it a little flick up, these points will now kind of meet. So kind of got almost a bauble shape in itself. They're not going to come too close together. I'm going to be joining them together with the rings. So my jump rings that I'm using are slightly larger this time. They are 8 by 1 millimeter. So it's a 1 millimeter gauge wire, which means it's 18 gauge. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my 2 pairs of pliers and I'm going to open up the ring as I usually would do, and I'm going to slide that through those 2 loops at the top of my hanging ring and then close that back over. I'm now going to take another ring and I'm going to attach that in the middle. So it's going to come off the bottom of the ring I've just attached through the loops. It's just going through the jump rings, nothing else. And then my next ring, so I'm going to use 3 of these. I'm going to hook on my angel charm through the little loop that I made and then dangle that off that second jump ring that I just put on. And that is going to give me enough space so my angel sits in the middle of that ring. So if I lay it on the desk, down on my mat, you can see it's now sitting fairly central. And now all I need to do is get a little bit of cord or a little bit of ribbon and hang that top jump ring through. So I've got a little piece of rat tail here. I've gone for kind of a goldy colour, and it was just an offcut of what I had left over. Waist knot, want knot. You could use ribbon, you could use cord, you could use whatever you like. I'm now going to take those 2 ends and I'm just going to tie a little overhand knot, but I'm not going to pull it all the way down. I'm going to do another knot, so I kind of double knotted it. And then I'm just going to hold those 2 ends together and pull that knot from the bottom. Oh. So it unravels. Let me try that again. I mean, you can knot this any way you want to. I just tend to find a double knot. You do have to hold on to the ends, otherwise it comes loose like mine's just done. There you go. Pull from the bottom, pull down from the top, and then if you want to, you can trim the ends, or you can use a little like flame zapper, thread zapper, or a lighter if you wanted to just get those bits. If you're using ribbon, use your scissors and score it and make it curly at the end. But you just want to make sure you've got enough of a loop so you can hang it on whatever you want to. If you want to do your knot a different way, and I'll untie it, you hold the two cords or ribbon ends together and then just push the ends through the loop and push up. And that might be a little neater way of doing it. And there you go. I've got my angel hanger ready to go. Heather says, I like to gift and make for my family at Christmas. Then these might just be the perfect one for you. Joanne says, memory wire is my nemesis. Have to finish my son's congratulations chainmail bracelet. You could use a crystal rondelle for the halo if you wanted to. But if you're going to get these little kits, Heather, they are £5.99. It's going to give you enough to make 9 little angels and all your crystals left over. They are super, super quick to make. I was going to make a little fuchsia one, but I think you've seen how they're done, haven't you? If you would like, I'll make another little angel, and then you've got, you know, the option of just making the angels without the loop, and you can have that then as a pendant, a charm, anything you want. So again, just to make my angel, I'm going to take my headpin, which is going to come in the kit. I'm going to add on my lovely little drop bead. These I know are not available to buy on the website at the moment. They only come in these angel kits. I'm going to add on my little wings. And again, you can mix and match as well if you wanted to. So you could add, you know, maybe if you've got a particular gemstone you want, you might want to pop the gemstone bead on as the head or something instead. And then going to add my little bead. If you get the kits, they're going to be perfectly matching though. I do love the fact that the drop is exactly the same colour and shade on this little fuchsia one. Then I'm going to have my little rondelle. And that's my halo done. Push down. So I'm creating a bend nice and close to where the halo is. So I'm bending it as a 90-degree angle. The reason I bend it first is then when I turn my loop, it's going to sit right on the top. So when I was shaping my memory wire, you seen I was shaping it and then positioning it. Whereas this, by bending it, I mean, you can bend your memory wire first, but I just tend to not want to put too much strain and stress on it, really. I can use normal cutters for this. So I'm going to cut, leaving about 1 centimetre from the bend. If my halo falls off, I just slide it back on again. So keep that down in position. So just hold it in place under your thumb. Take your round nose pliers. I'm going to use the smaller end of my round nose pliers. I want it fairly tapered. Give it a little flick up, reposition all the way around. So you can see now as I've turned that, my loop is nice and central and close on the top of the angel. So I could add her as an earring, just need an earring hook. I could thread her onto a beaded necklace. I could make a little bracelet, and I could hang her as a charm from the front of it. I mean, I've bent these backwards, but you can see if you did want to just get the loop hoops as well, just by adding the beads on in this same pattern, you've got quite a sleek little elegant bracelet as well. Oh, Camille, you are funny. There's no such thing as a stupid question, Heather. If I don't know the answer, I'll find out for you. Stupid question, does memory wire work with a one-step looper? We could find out. I don't use it. Well, I mean, it could just go disastrously wrong now, couldn't it? We'll see. I think you're just going to struggle because of the curve on it. So let me find my one-step looper. It might struggle to cut it. I suppose it depends on the gauge of the memory wire you're using, but let's see. So I'm going to put it through as I would normally, and I'm going to hold it in place. So I still want the wire to go through the end, which would usually cut it. However, if you don't want to cut it, you could always put it through and just not put it all the way through, if that makes sense. It's got to be enough. So I don't know whether you can see because this part of it's in the way. It's got to be enough to kind of come here to turn round. So the answer is yes. It does. See, no such thing as a stupid question, Heather, because I wouldn't have done it, and now I have. And that's all thanks to you. I would still probably go in and just round it off. There you go. You might not need to flick your loop up as much. And then obviously you just turn it around and do the same on the other side. Clever clogs. There you go. I take the risks so you don't have to. Just make sure that you are maybe wearing protective goggles, glasses type of thing, or you're holding your tools in a manner which means if anything does get cut off, you're not at risk of it flying in your eye or anything like that. We don't want that happening. Heather's saying she's loving the pink. It's just so bright and gorgeous, isn't it? Fairness Born, you are welcome. She says, lovely make. Thank you, Natalie. Sheila says, very pretty. Jan says, thanks. These are really cute. Camille says she loves them. Well, you would do, Camille. Apparently you made these 5 years ago. Where was I? And Izzy says the possibilities for that kit are endless. Yeah, well, this is why we didn't want to say to you, you're going to get this, you're going to get that. Your angels, we've, designed in terms of the colours, in terms of choosing maybe what goes with gold and what goes with silver. But if you really want to have a different, then you can just easily go in onto the website and you can just choose to add in extra ones into your basket. So the kits today for these angel decorations are on the Totally Beads website. If you go into our video tutorial making category, you'll see it just says festive angel hanging decorations. Click on in there. If you need to change your currency, because we do ship worldwide, you can do that at the top of the page here. Any acrylic spacers you want are an absolute bargain today. They range from £2 to £4. If just for reference, if I do change the currency to US dollars, if I wanted to get 2,500 pieces of the gold acrylic round spacers, they are $2.21. If I want to buy 5,000 pieces, say of the red, they're just $4.42. So they are a real fantastic price. So if you want to buy the acrylic spacers, there, the memory wires there as well, and you can choose what gauge you want. We do have a lot on the website. In terms of whether I've put these with the gold or the silver, the memory wire I've used has all been that kind of rhodium silvery finish, because you don't really see it anyway. So for example, if I hold this one back up to camera, where am I? So this is the silver coloured memory wire, but I've used the gold findings. The only piece of memory wire you will see is those little loops that you're making at the top. But the way they sit, because I'm kind of opening them up to put the jump ring on in the centre, when they kind of close together, you really can't see it unless you're very, very close up. So I've chose to use the silver rhodium colour in my memory wire. Don't worry if you think, oh, but I'm going to use the gold kind of finishings or the gold acrylic spacers, whatever you need to do, you can still use that colour. So if I go back up onto the website, no, there you go. So your angel kits today are enough to make the angel with lots of the crystal Rondelle 4x6s left over to put them into the hanger if you want to. They're going to make 9 angels, so you can use them for whatever you want, and they're just £5.99 today. They come in a fuchsia, a green, a jet black, a gorgeous purple, which looks a bit silvery on that picture against the silver, I must admit, but that would look gorgeous with the gold as well. So say you wanted to get this kit and you think, I would like to make some in gold, then all you need to do is just add extras into your basket. So you might think, okay, so I'm going to add that silver one into my basket with the purple, and then I'm going to go into one of the gold colorways that we've got, say this gorgeous green one, and then I'm just going to add in the gold wings and the gold halo, and that's £1.50 for your wings, and you're getting 12 pieces of the rings with that, and you're getting 80 pieces of your flat rondelles for just £1.50. These are really, really good value for money. And as I say, I didn't want to dictate to you, you must use these with these colours, because I just had a lot of fun putting them together. And to be fair, there was colours there that I wouldn't have usually I don't tend to have black decorations at Christmas. I might do around Samhain and Halloween and things like that, but at Christmas, I don't tend to go for black. But actually, today, I'm absolutely feeling that. It's my fave. Loving the fuchsia. Might want to mix and match and change those colours. I mean, making it contrast will really make it stand out. And then you've also got your memory wire if you just want to make a little bracelet as well. So that is me for today. I'm going to be back with you as always on is it Wednesday today? Yeah. Okay, that's a relief. I'm going to be back with you on Monday. On Monday, it will be what date is it today? It's the 19th today. So Monday will be the 24th, and I'm going to be making some lovely little bracelets with you and some earrings as well. So I'm going to be making a little gemstone set. I'm using gorgeous little floral connectors, and the gemstones I've got are beautiful. They are beads, but they're like little flat discs. They're just gorgeous, and they come in a variety of beautiful, beautiful gemstones. I think I've got, not to give too many spoilers away, I've got turquoise howlite, I've got amethyst, I have tree jasper, I've got tiger's eye, and they are very, very pretty, but they're a good all year round make. So keeping certain things festive and then spicing it up again in between. Just me, you are very, very welcome. She says, what a darling ornament. Heather says her halo fell off ages ago. What is the size of the memory wire, says Carol? This one that I'm using is a 0.5. You can get 0.5, 0.8, we might have a 0.6. That's on the website. I did say I'd have a little look at the different types of memory wire, and I did say I'd look at the Christmas makes with you, but I'll let you go shopping. You can have a little look at our Christmas makes, and as the weeks go on, I'll point you in the direction of lots of other past kits, which were as beautiful this year as they were last year and the year before. Thank you, Joanne. Says they all look adorable. Love all the colours. Thank you for a fabulous day. I'm going to keep this on. I'm really liking that. Simple, elegant, dead comfy. You're very welcome, Camille. Thank you so much for being with us today. Hello, says Annette from Germany. Guten Tag. But for now, Auf Wiedersehen. I will see you all very, very soon. Have a wonderful day and a lovely weekend ahead, and enjoy the snow and be